Okay, so we got to get now even another review for test number one, test number two, exam two, as follows. The miscellaneous things I got to tell you. There's one more thing that I need to tell you about. Wait a second, let me get my pencil here, if I can. There we go. So here it is, exam two review. And it is the fourth one, which I'll call D. All right, fine. So the first thing I need to tell you is still something more about, remind you about combinations, that if you see something like this with the 9 on the left and the 4 on the right, that's the same thing as what we're used to, C, 9, 4, and then you go use the formula for combination. So the 9 and the 4 should not get you flustered. Okay, so you'd have to go back to, I think, to V1 and V2 for the formulas. All right, that's one thing I want to tell you. Now I want to start talking about some probability stuff. Here is some probability information. If you could have a problem that looks like this, like a dartboard, and then let's say there's numbers in there, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And so what's your sample space in a situation like that? It's divided into 6. So there's your denominator is going to be a 6. And let's say we are talking about the probability of getting a 1. Well, out of the 6, there's 3 of them. 3 over 6 equals 1/2. Very simple, but I want to just make sure that if you see a dartboard, that does not get you flustered. Okay, here's another thing that I need to tell you. Just remember, just some reminders about what you got to remember about probability. Let's say it's a sample space situation. All right, let me explain that exactly. Sample space situation. It has to do with V3, V4, V5. Anyway, what if it says what if they want you to describe it as a set? Describe as a set. Describe as set. And here's the experiment. Hold on. The experiment is one die on the table. One die on the table. And we have 6 sides, right? 6 sides to the die. Okay. Describe as set. So how would you describe as set the sample space? What should you describe? A, the sample space. Okay, answer. You would describe it this way. Here's the set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's the set of the sample space. B, what if they describe a outcome of event, describe as a set, right? Describe as a set the outcomes of event of getting greater than 3, a number greater than 3. Answer, right? That was the first answer. Here's the answer to B. Here's how you describe it. You make it look like a set, and you go 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, not 3. 3 is not included. Greater than 3. I apologize. 4, 5, and 6. That's a set. Greater than 3, not greater or equal. Greater than 3. And that would be the answer. You describe it as a set. So I just want to make sure that it's not complicated problems. I just want to make sure you're not flustered by what you see. Okay, that's another little piece of stuff that I needed to tell you about probability. Here's another thing. Don't forget that formula has to do with V8 and V9. V8, V9, I believe. And it was the mutually exclusive and not mutually exclusive stuff. And there was a formula that came up over there, which is probability of A union B, A means or, equals the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B, and that's the word "and" over here. That means "and." Okay, it's just some quick reminders about stuff about probability that you need to brush over, and those videos will help you. All right, there's a little bit more stuff I want to tell you about probability. Okay, remember about the probability of cards, right? So the probability of cards, don't forget that stuff, right? We go over that in our videos. It's also in V8 and V9, probability of cards. If there's something on the test, they'll tell you exactly how the cards work. So it'll be pretty clear. Now, one more thing I need to tell you about probability to prepare us for this test, which is, what if you get a case of where the experiment, so to speak, is having 3 children? Strange way of putting it, but 3 children, and one after the other. And no twins, no triplets. One first child, second child, third child. All right, let me get some room. Try to move up my piece of paper here, if I can. Yeah, I got a little bit more room. Okay, here's the question for problem number 6. Problem number 6. I want all the room that I can get. I don't need that much, but I want to make sure it's clear. All right, so on the test, if you have a problem like this, they'll give you the sample space. You don't have to memorize what I'm about to show you. But what could happen is, when you're having 3 children, it could be 3 boys, one after the other. It could be 3 girls, one after the other. Another possibility is 2 boys and a girl this way, or you could have a girl first and then 2 boys. Or you could have a boy and then a girl and a boy. You could have 2 girls and a boy. You could have a boy then 2 girls. Or you could have a girl, boy, and girl, and that's it. There's 8 possibilities. That is the sample space of 3 children. Okay? You don't have to memorize that. What's the probability? Here's the question. What's the probability of a boy on each of the first 2 births? That you get a boy on each of the first 2 births. Here it is. I'll show you. Here's a case of where you got 2 boys on the first 2 births, and here it is, and there's no other one. There's no other one where you get the first 2 births of boys. So the answer is 2 over 8, which is equal to 1/4. That's the answer. One more thing I got to tell you about probability, and I can end this video. That on the test, they will have a question where the die has 8 sides. We're used to 6. Don't get flustered. They can give you a question where the die has 8 sides. That can happen. The die has 8 sides. All right? And so beware of such a question. Do not get nervous that you don't know what to do. I got one more thing to do about probability. Let's see if I can get some more space. Yes, I can. I can do it right over here. I think it's number 7. Has to do with probability. And what if you have what happens is you choose a number. First choose a number from 1 to 4. 1 to 4. Then choose letter, either A or B. A or B, just 2 letters. And they ask you, show me the sample space. Show me the sample space. Write it all out. Write the whole thing out as a set, like we did before. So here's how you would write it. You could get 1A or 1B. You could get 2A or 2B, right? There's 4 numbers and there's 2 letters. You could get 3A or 3B. And you get 4A or 4B. And that's the sample space. What if they ask you, tell me the event where you choose, where you have picked a 1. You have picked a 1. Tell me those possibilities. You picked a 1. Answer. It could be in the event 1A, you picked a 1, and 1B, and those are the only two. There's only two places where you picked a 1, right over here. So that is how to describe it. 1A and 1B is the event where you've picked a 1. That's the last of what we need, I believe, for probability, and I got a little bit to show you in the next video, and then we are done. Okay.